So when I was about 28, I was feeling pretty down because I hadn't found a career. I'd tried a number of things. Almost had a degree in psychology when I realized that wasn't where I needed to go. And I had also enrolled in a cooking school and cooked in restaurants around Albuquerque for a number of years. But that really didn't fit with my personality either. I just wasn't good enough to have people really appreciate what I was doing in the kitchen. At the time, I had decided I wanted to go into the construction trades, and I was working for a remodel company. I remember digging in the dirt with a with my boss. He and I were trying to shovel out a bunch of mud from in a parking lot where the that had flooded because of the rain. And he looked over at me and said, I've, I've never seen a college boy work that hard. I took that as a compliment, but later on I realized that was the only time I'd gotten a compliment working for him or any of the other construction people. I had talked to my mom about my frustration, and she knew I was always looking. And as it happened, she had found out a place called Johnson O'Connor, which gave tests, a very thorough group of tests on uh, skills that I might have. I did go ahead and enroll in a 24-hour exam, and they found that engineering was the closest fit for a person with my skills. So I had a goal. In fact, it made so much sense to me that I was really pointed in that direction in my mind. But of course, I hadn't saved any money, so I wasn't quite sure how I was going to get back in school. As it happens, later that year, I was in a car accident. A fellow ran a red light and T-boned me, broke my hip and a number of other things, and it was clear I couldn't go back to any of the jobs that I'd previously done. I spent 11 days in the hospital, and during that period, I had a lot of time to think, and I decided I would re-enroll in school as an engineer. And I did get some money because it was the man's fault who hit me. So that gave me the wherewithal to at least go to school for a few years. And I could worry about how I paid for it later. The next thing that happened was I found a work study program and I got a job at Bonneville Power Administration in Portland, Oregon. And this was the first time I'd worked in a capacity as an engineer. And they were really appreciated what I offered. In fact, I discovered myself that if you work 8 hours a day, you can get a huge amount done. So that informed the rest of my school. It was difficult those 4 or 5 years because of my age and the fact that I was in class with people who had just gotten out of high school or were in their 20s and had lots of energy, but I was determined I was going to get that degree no matter what. Even if I failed a class, I would go ahead and repeat it and just keep on going for that goal. One semester tested my resolve as I was in a playing water polo in the PE class, and a kid punched my eye out accidentally, which gave me a detached retina. Unfortunately, I had to drop out that year, but I made it up in the summer. And when I was 34, I crossed that stage at graduation, hand raised high. My mom was in the audience. It was just a great feeling. The next thing, as I looked for jobs, I realized that the interviewers treated me so much differently than they had before. Somehow, just having that engineering degree really made me feel proud because I was treated I was treated well. I gotten a job at Bureau Reclamation in Boulder City. I worked in Hoover Dam. I've done many other things, but the so I know it was the correct decision.